What happened tonight, this is completely BS. This is shame. Shame for the referees, shame for the league to allow this. 23 free throws for them, and we get 2 free throws in the fourth quarter. Like, how to play the game. I understand respect for all stars and all that, but we have star players on our team as well. They had to win tonight. If that's the case, just let us know so we don't show up for the game. Just give them a win. But that was not fair tonight. And this is not happening first time for us. Scotty Barnes is going to be all-star. He's going to be the face of this league. And what's happening over here during whole season, I've been holding it back. It's a complete crap. I'm telling our guys, be professional. Keep fighting. Keep going for the next one. But until when? For how long?
What a way to get into our latest segment, Harvey's Hot Takes, with this man, Bryan Hayes, our resident opinionist. Every Wednesday, Bryan will be joining us with 3 takes as hot as a Harvey's flame-grilled original burger. Bryan, I can't get over this rant from Darko Rajaković after the Raptors lost to the Lakers on Tuesday. I guess my opinion would be, when you listen to that, what was your biggest takeaway?
Well, Jay, I would say that the Raptors' inferiority complex was on full display. And it took Darko 37 games to be welcomed into the club, right? It's been a part of this roster. It's been a part of the organization's history. It's been a part of the fan base's history since its inception. This idea that you're one of one, the only Canadian team. And all the American teams, they get the boost from the refs. They get, their tires pumped from the American media. And it's especially amplified in LA against the Lakers and against LeBron. And I thought it was officiated very poorly on Tuesday night. I love Darko's passion, but I think, the clip where he's like, just give us a heads up, we won't even show up. That's, a bridge too far. I think him suggesting that it's completely unfair and that it's happened multiple times this year, again, is a part of the inferiority complex that's been around this team for a long time, again, permeating through the fan base for a long time. And what he said about Scotty Barnes is the best example, right? He wants Scotty to get superstar treatment. Scotty hasn't reached that level yet, but he wants him to be an all-star. He wants him to get to a point where he's the face of the franchise or face of the league. But I think there's a concern with the Raptors organization and, again, the fan base that will never happen simply because he's a Toronto Raptor.
I will say, Darko certainly endeared himself to the fan base with that rant in a way that he certainly hadn't up to that point. Speaking of officiating, Bryan, the NHL and NBA, a hot topic in terms of officiating. Connor McDavid now talking about a Leon Draisaitl goal against the Chicago Blackhawks on Tuesday that was overturned when Draisaitl was ruled to be offside. Take a listen.
I do. I mean, obviously, if it takes you 15 minutes to determine if it's offside or not, it probably doesn't really matter. I talked to the linesman after. Ultimately, it's not their call, I guess. Obviously they said it came down from the league, but you zoom in, you keep zooming in until you can't zoom in anymore, and I guess it's offside. So.
It's interesting. First of all, it wasn't a Draisaitl goal. It was a Zach Hyman goal, but Draisaitl was the one who was offside. So, Bryan, let's talk about debate both sides of this one here. What's your take on what McDavid had to say?
Well, I think he's right, Jay, and I think he's speaking for a lot of fans throughout the league. We don't need to get it right every single call. It's not possible, and it's taking away from the entertainment value of the league. This is a gate-driven league, Jay. You know this. Everyone in the NHL knows this. 20,000 people show up to see Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Zach Hyman put on a clinic, and it's taken away from them because they're breaking down the tape like it's the Zapruder film, and he's a millimeter offside. It's absolutely outrageous. You don't go to the rink to see them get it right. You go to see great players do great things. And what's happened here is the league has been taken prisoner by egregious offsides, egregious goaltender interference calls that, again, should have been called in the past but weren't. So they've implemented this system, and it's completely gotten carried away to the point where even Connor McDavid, who is not overly outspoken, generally can be very robotic. I loved his stance. That was after a win, Jay. They won the game. He wasn't rattled that it happened. He was rattled with the rule. He was rattled with the process. It took way too long to break it down. And even after they broke it down and explained it, I think a lot of people would look at that objectively and say, I still don't know that it was offside.
Yep.
And it was a terrible hockey game. Probably the coolest part of the night was Draisaitl to McDavid to Hyman, and it gets taken away because of a 6-minute goofy review. It's silly.
I couldn't agree with you more. Finally, Brian, the NFL playoffs are upon us. We all know you're a Packers fan, so I'm going to preface this one with that. And with that, the floor is yours, my friend. Take it away.
I'm going to say it right here, right now, Jay. Jordan Love and the Packers, they have a real shot at beating the Dallas Cowboys. I know conventional wisdom makes everyone look at Dallas. They're undefeated at home. They're a veteran team. And obviously the Packers are the youngest team in football. I don't love the way Dallas is coming into this. Yes, they just beat Washington. That's a glorified Arena League team, the way Washington was playing down the stretch. Prior to that, if it wasn't for a 2-point conversion debacle by Dan Campbell and the Lions, the Cowboys lose that game. They lost the prior week to Miami, and they got blown out the week before by Buffalo. They have lost games down the stretch. The Packers, conversely, have been playing playoff football for weeks. They've won 3 in a row coming in. Jordan Love has been outstanding. Everyone's focused on Aaron Rodgers still, understandably so, because of some of the stuff going on with him. But Jordan Love is the real deal. Matt LaFleur, I think, is a better coach than Mike McCarthy. And the last time we saw the Packers go on the road, play on turf, in a dome against a really good team, U.S. Thanksgiving, the Detroit Lions, everyone had the Lions winning big. The Packers went in there and laid a beating on Jared Goff and the Lions. I think Jordan Love shows up. I think they win the turnover battle. I think they find a way to keep Parsons out of the game. Easier said than done. I think it's going to be a great game, a close game, and I think the Packers can win this one.
We're going to keep that opinion from Pierre LeBrun because he'll get very upset. But I love that take, buddy. And just like Harvey's has been serving Canadians for 65 years, this guy, Bryan Hayes, has been serving up hot takes since 1983 when he was born. Buddy, thanks for this. We'll talk to you next week.
You got it. Thanks, Jay.
Hot Takes is brought to you by Harvey's. Flame grilled burgers topped your way.